Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain. Alright, so these next couple of videos, again, we're only going to be doing one video a day because of how long these ones are. I know I've been busy lately, so I've only been able to do the one video a day. But these ones are a, a long quest. The quest is actually broken up into two parts. The second part being a real pain in the butt, and to do these at level, a lot of people don't recommend that. Again, really difficult, even on a stronger character. Now, these quests used to be located in the Hall of Heroes, but they are now actually located in the Gatekeeper's Grove, which can be accessed from the harbor here. Sorry about that. And the quest we are talking about here is, of course, the Temple of Elemental Evil. Now, there is a lot to these quests, so again, these quests are going to be a long one. Alright, so here we go. So the quest giver here is Alatra the Gatekeeper for the Heroic, and then Bagnum the Gatekeeper for the Epic. Now the quests, they are almost identical, it's just one's Heroic, one's Epic. Now the entrance for both is right here, and we just click and enter. Now again, lots of optionals, lots of extras, and it's been a long time since I've done these quests, just because of how much of a pain in the butt they are. So I am going to try and go through everything, but one thing I generally always miss is some of the audio. So the first things first I want to point out is the quest entrance itself is an entrance, and there are some enemies here. However, it isn't until we open the door and go down there that it really gets started. Now, of course, you can just jump right in and head on in. However, on the outside here, we do have
loud, drunken voices
some enemies here and there.
Campsite.
Another thing to point out, as you heard from there, if you haven't recognized the voice, this module is actually narrated by Will Wheaton. So if you're a fan of Star Trek or Big Bang Theory, or, you know, any number of things that he is in, hey. So the enemies in here, as you see, have a decent amount of hit points, about almost 500 apiece, even on the non-champions. And they can actually dish out a little bit of damage. Apparently I was too far away. There we go. So our first audio is always outside here, I thought. I guess not. Okay. Though sometimes out here, you will run into the Frog Keeper. And if you find these Frog Keepers, make sure you talk to them as soon as possible, as it does ask you to get a spider eggs. Now, those ones, once you get them, you can't unget them, as it were. So if you kill them too early before you talk to them, you won't be able to get them.
With strange runes. It's clear that at some time in the distant past, the doors had been sealed with soft iron. Then you notice the scratches and gouges that show the seal has been broken, and a cold shiver runs down your spine.
So within this quest, there has the potential for a lot of optionals. They don't always spawn, and they don't always spawn in the same locations either. But I'll do my best to point out, you know, when we see them and kind of what areas to look for.
He seems to be studying his surroundings.
Alright. So a thing to point out is in the Temple of Elemental Evil, you can actually get a lot of named items. You can have a chance for each optional that drops, a chance for a named item, as well as there's also a craftable style here as well. So if we talk to the blacksmith here, Okay. That'll progress the quest to tell us that we need to find these keys. But if we activate the workbench, however, we can click to see the list and it shows us all the different types of upgrades that we can make. Now, these mushrooms here that you get, these rusty grills, so the brown, the red, the yellow, the green, and the purple, and the blue, these ones are all you get from the chests as well. So the first part of the quest, so part one here, as we're on, we mostly get the brown ones in this quest. The other ones they come from the next quest. So part two. All right. So throughout the quest, you'll also see these orbs. These orbs are actually the commentary that we were looking for.
That was the very first time we had a big kind of ongoing thing that could last for months. When we did like against the Giants and all that stuff, that would last for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then we'd be finished with the module. But Elemental Evil could go on, like you could play it through an entire summer. And I think that's great. I think that this module's place in history is extremely important, because it represented a real sort of landmark turning point in what we expected from these games. The ceiling has caved in here, blocking the staircase down. Judging from the dust that lingers in the air, the collapse must have been recent.
Alright, so as you can see, with my health there, already running into a little bit of issues, getting down to half health a couple of times now, and we haven't even really made it anywhere yet. So up top here, honestly, there really isn't anything up here other than that, what's that word I'm looking for? Other than that commentary orb. Now in this room, there are 2 paths down. There is dungeon level 1 here, and dungeon level 1 over here. Now, obviously they both meet up. However, depending on what side you go down is the area around you. Now, personally, I always head to the western side here, or walk in and head left down this door here. But it is just a personal preference. Alright, from here, as you see, lots of big groups of people. And that is honestly what makes this dungeon so difficult, is just the amount of people. Whew, that was getting to be hairy. You know, I might have had to do this one on Elite. But I've never been considered to be smart. Alright. So yeah, at these kind of four-way corners or like three T sections, when you run into them, it can be dangerous if they have like, a group on either side. Just for the simple fact that you're flanked and you're in a small spot, so it can be a little rough. Um, so the first thing I want to point out is we got this long tunnel heading down. We can't actually progress through these yet. As you see, we need a earth barrier. In order to break down the earth barrier, we need the earth temple key. So we do need to go out and get that key first. Alright, so I'm gonna head north. Now again, we got these sections here where we can run into mass groups of mobs. And in our case, Reapers. Another thing I want to point out, enemies, like the random generated enemies, can actually respawn. So if we're out of this section here for too long, enemies are going to start spawning back in here. So don't think just because you've cleared an area that that's it. And actually I'm seeing a chest up there. Chests generally mean named. So we're going to take him out. Alright, so as you can see, almost 2,800 experience for the optional, as well as a chest. Let's see if we get any named items in here. We did not. Alright. So from here, I'm actually going to branch out heading west just to check the rooms. So we got another audio here.
What I clearly remember is that I opened it up, and inside the first page of the cover of the player's guide is a sentence that says, "This is a game that is fun, it helps you to imagine." And I remember thinking, all right, challenge accepted. And I immediately fell in love.
Alright, so as you see, you also get experience for just simply killing enemies in this dungeon. So that's one thing that gives the XP such a boost out here, is again just all these optionals that you can get. And we got another chest. Alright.
It was Christmas in 1982 or 1983. We were at my great aunt's house, where we always went for holidays, and all of the cousins got their Christmas presents, and everyone got handheld computer games and things like that, and electronics. And she gave me the D&D basic red box set, and I opened it up, and I was like, "Where's the game?"
we can head down this path and see what we get. Alright, so we got another chest, but again, just to be leery around the corners. Alright, so while we're looting the chest here, I'll just call the hirelings so that we can get ourselves a heal. So when they're random chests like this, sometimes surrounded by the boxes, they'll pretty much only ever have the mushrooms inside them. Alright. Alright. So we got a door to our left. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of times when you have a door, there's something on the other side of that door. Because we have attacks such as turret as well as the fireball here, we can more often than not eliminate a lot of this issue before we even cross over. Alright, and again, same thing. Though as you can see, these enemies are not actually activated until we open the door. So I'm gonna call in our hireling. So the path here that I'm actually taking right now is where we go to get that earth key. Alright. So actually, just on the other side of this fence, as you see, we have some methods here. This is our first step in order to get the key. So if you look on the map where we're at, and again, I'm going to point out a little bit easier path here to take. So for this quest itself, a balanced party is definitely recommended, though not technically required. But as you can see, long quest, you know, we're still on the first floor, essentially. And there's still a whole other floor yet to do. I'm just going to drop another turret. So inside of this room here, oh, it's not the room I thought we were in. We have some enemies, though apparently they're not actually activating. Alright then. Alright. So, what we do need to go is into this room. We have this chest in particular. Now, this chest here gives off the Club of Earthen Dominion. Now, this is actually a very unique item. Unique to this quest, as it does leave on exit drop on leaving the adventure, and basically it allows you, when it hits an earth elemental, it makes it your pet, basically. Another thing to point out, we do have a door right here which does lead into the inner sanctum. Now, before I get to that inner sanctum, I do want to finish exploring this area, again, to show you guys what's here, that kind of thing here. Most people who do this quest kind of do the whole jump to the end as fast as possible. And, I mean, truthfully, I don't really blame them. Alright, so as you can see, we can't really go any further this way. There isn't a path up there. There is a door. However, there's a spiked pit, and there's no way that we're making that jump. Now, there is a way across. There's actually a couple of ways that we can get across. So if we just head back a little ways and then head north, we'll be able to proceed that way. Let's kill some more baddies here. So one thing I'm sure you're noticing is around these corners, like, I am definitely poking my head around to make sure that everything is safe. Sometimes these enemies like to drop these traps. Alright, here. So we've got some more dudes here. Let's toss. Oops, did not see that one early enough. Okay. So, just north of us here at the end of our banquet hall, we do have some shrines. Now, I do like clearing these out because there is a secret passage that we can access a little later that actually spawns you through this fire pit. So it'll spawn you right here. Obviously, if you haven't gone and cleared this, then you are stuck fighting the enemies, and that passageway, as you see, there's nothing for us to activate here. It is a one way, so if you port through that passage and you end up here, you're stuck fighting them. You can't just, step back through and hope for the best. You're here, good luck. Alright, here. So I'm just gonna go and connect our path here. Alright. So other things to look out for in this quest, as again, super difficult, they actually do have at times altars. Now these altars, what they'll do is they'll give you a buff. I don't know what the buff is, because that buff does change. So sometimes it'll give you bonus acid damage or bonus lightning damage. Other times it's defense and health. Other times it might just be straight offensive damage increase. Like there's a fairly decent pool of different buffs that it can give. And the best part is, so say you pick up one, we say for example we have one in this room. This one happens to be acid. The buff lasts for 1 hour, and we can come back here at any point to re-pick up that acid buff. There can be others elsewhere in the quest giving us like an electric, so we can actually, if we're lucky enough, we could get all of the buffs and have them all active at once. So, you know, there's that, which is really cool, but I mean, I think the most I've ever had active at any given time was, I think, about 4 of them. And, you know, definitely made things quite a bit easier. Especially the damage resistant one. Alright. So this part here, as we round the corner, I do want to point this out. As you see, we do have a whole lot of ballista bolts.
A pair
Now,
of guards fumble with the ballista in the roof.
if we turn ever so slightly, we can actually see the ballista. The danger of this room here is if we actually enter in there, that ballista can hit us. Like, it's not just a cosmetic. There is a guard manning the ballista. Now, once the guard is dead, the ballista will not fire. However, while it can fire, that thing really, really hurts. To the point where, like, I've seen a lot of people get one shot, and it's not a pretty sight. So, if you can, try and just aim for the guard. It's gonna let me hit the guard. Alright, there we go. Apparently that was the guards. Okay. They may have changed it so that there's nobody manning the ballista, but yeah. It's because it used to be a real pain in the butt to actually get through here. Anyway, we have probably my favorite commentary in this one.
I mean, D&D was lethal in first edition. It was like AD&D was brutal, and I liked to play mages, right? And I was like, I'm a first level mage. I cast light. Please don't let me die. I cast magic missile. Points of damage, everybody. Help me.
Yeah, back in the day, low-level casters were just brutal to play. I mean, if you playing even just 3.5, like, they do take a little bit of time to get up their speed. Once they pick up that speed, though, they're just like a force to be reckoned with. Unfortunately, like, a lot of campaigns don't tend to get far enough, or at least a lot of the campaigns I've been in tend not to get far enough. I'm actually in a pen and paper campaign myself. My gal also hosts. She's a still a fairly new DM. She's a very, very creative person. and she does absolute wonders at the table there. Great imagination, great creativity. That's one thing I kind of suck at. I can build a world and I can populate a world, but to come up with something on the fly like she can, I can't do that. Like everything of mine has to be 100% thought out, 100% like pre-scripted almost. And like I can do the prep work for that, and it just takes me so long to create a campaign because I have to think of every possible scenario. And you know if you are a DM, you'll know that it is impossible to come up with every random scenario that the DM, like your players, might think of, which means I literally have to create like an entire world just so that, like, oh, you want to go east instead of west? Oh, well, okay. I have that already planned out and built. Like, you want to kill this guy who is gonna give you quests later on? Well, okay, well, he's dead, but now you can't get this quest from this person. It's passed on to his wife who inherited his land. Like, I'll have all of that planned out. Who inherits the land if they die, and, so on and so forth. Like, I go all out when I plan a campaign, just for the simple fact that I don't have the imagination to think up on the fly. And even, like, coming up with the idea generally takes me a lot longer than I'm proud of. Alright, so we got down here a little bit. Check these cells. We're just not getting much in the case of optionals, or, I mean, granted, we've literally done less than half of this floor here, so I mean, there's still plenty to go. Alright, so in here, as you can see, we do have a whole lot of cells. In each of these cells, there are some undead, which don't spawn in, really, until generally we enter the room. However, sometimes now it does go up and around the corner here. However, as you see, we do have a group of enemies right here. And I would honestly like to say hello from this side of the cage. That way we can thin out the herd a little bit before, actually opening up that door. Alright, so as you can see, another chunk of XP for getting those kills. Alright, so we thin them out a little bit. Gonna head up and around, kind of avoiding these things. Ooh, we got a chest. What kind of goodies do we getting in here? So yeah, these are those types of weapons that you can upgrade. So you get a lot of these here, where they'll say upgradable item, Temple of Elemental Evil. So as you can see, level 7, 54 cold spell power, 9 passive, plus again, we can upgrade these at the start of the area to really just improve their power. Also, it looks like we're gonna have to head back and shrine that hireling pretty soon. Alright, here. So this is that other side of these cages here. I'll just quickly take out this guy. And I guess the rest of them tried to rush the fence here to try and get around. I really do wish that our hireling was able to use the lost souls, but unfortunately they are not. Alright, so as you can see up here, we also have a way down to the Earthen Temple, which is the same as it was in that other room. However, as I don't want to go there just yet, we're going to head back up and around, and I'm going to show you one more door into that side. Now, of course, we can enter the Earthen Temple without first obtaining the Earthen Dominion Club, or the Club of Earthen Dominion. We can enter there without, so there's the other door right here. But if we choose to do that, we have to kill those Earth Elementals, which I mean, ultimately, not that bad of a thing to have to do, but it does make the fight quite a bit easier not killing them. Alright, so I am just going to head back and use the shrine here. Alright. Or rather, have the hireling use the shrine after she's restored my hit points and some of my spell points. So we've now about half covered this floor. The second floor itself is quite a bit smaller. Majority of everything is on this floor here. Right, I'm full up. She can shrine. Yeah, we can make our way this way. So here's those respawning groups. As you see, this is actually the path that we came down already. There's our open chest from that rare, and we have a whole new group of enemies. So we're already getting respawns back in the tunnels. Just means we're gonna have to be careful down this path again here. Alright, so one we didn't do was we never actually proceeded through here. And a nice little floating rum chest. Now, as you see, the ogres surprisingly don't hit as hard as you'd expect them to. But obviously we don't want to sit there and take more damage than we need to, just due to the fact that obviously we don't want to run out of heals. Alright, so cleared the room here. As you see, we do have a hidden door. I am just going to poke my head this direction here. So as you can see with the turret, we're getting to that point where the hit points really just don't measure up anymore. Enemies are able to take it down fairly quickly, especially those archers. Like, the archers in here, they're hitting for so much. I do think that it should be toned down a little bit, but obviously that's personal choice. Alright, here. So let's head on through our hidden door. So as you can see, they're not really quite sure what to do. Heading off down a completely different path, and as you can see, we're starting to run into these spiderlings. Now the spiderlings do point out that we do have a nest nearby, and I hate that those orcs are really going to be dragging a whole group of enemies for us. So as you can see with that door, it does become difficult because the enemies don't seem to want to path correctly, causing them to want to run all the way around. Now it is nice because they're running all the way around. However, any enemy along the way, they're gonna pull. As you saw, we hit that yellow alert. Not necessarily what you want to get in here. Now with these spiderlings, they're gonna actually endlessly respawn until we kill the spider nest. Now that spider nest is actually what we need to destroy in order to get the spider eggs that is wanted by our frog keeper here. So I know I could have made this fight a lot easier by just attacking that nest right away. However, I did want to give you guys kind of see what was what. So as soon as you kill those spider nests, as you see, it does complete the thing for the frog keeper. All we got to do is return to them, which I will do a little bit later once we get our keys. The downside is, like as I was talking before, if we ran into these spider nests and we killed them before talking to the frog keeper, we never would have actually gotten the optional like completed. So it would ask us to go out and kill one, but we can't because they are only spawn in limited numbers of them. And unlike most of the enemies that respawn, they do not respawn these spider nests. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just flee. And actually, you know what? Since we are so close to this side here, we can just head down here. And actually head on up and talk to the frog keeper since we are right near the start here. Alright, so there's our orb actually. I knew there was one over here.
This is really fun for me because I get to be a dungeon master for basically anyone in the world who wants to play this game. And that's really, really fun.
Alright, so then once you turn that in, they let you use the chest. Again, chance for named items. Again, we just got a upgradable one, the Khopesh here. Now these ones are actually kind of interesting. So as you see, it gives acid vulnerability. So applies a stack of acid vulnerability every time it hits. This does obviously only affect acid damage. So it'll increase the acid damage by up to 20%. So 1% per stack, stacks up to 20. Now these are really good on a Khopesh style because of their crit chance. Now again, you can upgrade the thing, and when you upgrade the Khopesh, what they do is they do acid damage on critical. So that's where that the crit chance of the Khopesh and stuff like that are really, really cool. And again, any weapon with a good crit chance really makes those weapons like a really nice upgraded effect. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to point out right from here. So as you see, we right from here, once we step in, we want to make a left and basically head all the way down this tunnel. Make a right, a left, a right, a left, following the tunnel, and that'll actually get us to the end, to the Earth Elemental room. So what I'll do here is once we're done clearing this section, we're going to head south now. Once I'm done completely clearing this whole section, I will show you kind of the fast route to head directly to the club and then directly to the Earth Elemental room. because I know it's gonna get confusing with me going in and out, here, there, everywhere. But I do want to do a full run here for you guys. Again, I do apologize. This video is going to take some time to get through. I am obviously hurrying as best as I can. I do know, like, the first time I was in here, though I didn't quite know what I was doing, so it was taking me a little bit longer. Plus, I was actually, you know, actively searching out all those commentaries, which I can never seem to find them all in one go. So always gets down to about one left, and then I just can't find that last one. Alright, so that's all cleared. Alright. Oh, and I guess we just got a Facebook message. Alright, here. Make sure no one's immediately around the corner there. Sit a moment, make sure we get in that stack of archers focus. That's one of the major reasons here why I'm trying to stand as still as possible. Though jumping does count for standing still, which is awesome. Alright. Let's head south here and clear this tunnel. So as you can see, not a lot of hit points on these mephits, but I mean, there's a decent amount of mephits, so.
I think it's good that characters die, because without character lives being at stake, there's no reason for the heroes to be heroic. Like you know, it matters. You know, there's those moments where some character you love is dying, and you, as a player character, take a bunch of damage to protect them because you care about them. And it's amazing that this thing, which is basically a collection of numbers and ideas, And made up things can become as meaningful and as beloved as like a childhood pet. And I think it says something about the power of this game to engage our imaginations that that happens.
Yeah, I completely agree with him there. Like, just I've had so many characters playing Dungeons and Dragons, and like you invest so much time in your character and so much effort. Like really get to be your character, and like as an adult, like I still love playing the game because it's a nice escape from reality. Like to just be, a happy-go-lucky thief, or the noble bard, or the noble paladin, just whoever you want to be. And it could be, similar to who you are in real life, but or it can be like the complete opposite. Just, anything you want to be, you can be. And man, am I popular this morning. He says as he gets only 2 messages. Alright. Alright. So here's that secret passage that leads all the way over to here to where those shrines are. Alright, so I am just going to pop back down. Head around. Okay. So now we got the guys to this side. Alright. So this door here, that we just passed right here, this is the other side. So on that other floor, the first floor actually, where we had chosen to go on the western side or to the left. This is the path if we had chosen to go the eastern side or to the right there. This is where it would pop us up. So again, a similar thing where it has a tunnel down to that earthen barrier. Um, but again, because the club and most of the door entrances here are on this side, though it does still have door entrances on this side here, I still prefer the other path there. Ooh, we got a couple of Famine Reapers. You know what? I'm gonna toss another Death Ward because I don't want any more neg levels. So what I'm actually going to do, just because of the length of this video already, I'm going to finish up this floor, and before we actually proceed deeper in to the temple and down to the next floor, which will have our air, fire, and our water key, so all three of them are located on that next floor. I will end the video before we hop through. That way, you know, I'll break it up a little bit for you guys into a part 1 and a part 2 for this quest, because again, super long. Um, though we are actually almost getting to that point where we're going to be ending it. We've almost completely cleared this floor. Though again, enemies do respawn. But you know, we just hit 400 enemies. And we're about halfway through. We still got a whole other floor to go. But we'll definitely do that. Now this room here, with the harpies, now that harpy matron is always up in this area, as is the chest right there. Trying to get a hold of that plague reaper. That way it'll also let me check, see what's up with those messages there. Alright. It's a whole lot of lost souls for us, which is nice, because we were starting to run a little low on those spell points. Alright, so this room here does have actually a couple of secret doors in it, though I can never seem to remember where. But first, I'm going to grab our chest. Now this is about one of the only chests that don't actually have any named items in it. Alright, so this is where those ghouls were coming out of. Yeah, here's that hidden door, though, as you can see, already open.
I was really kind of bummed out because I felt a little ripped off, like everybody else got games to play and I got books. And she said, I heard that this is a game for people who like to use their imagination. And you have such a wonderful imagination, I think you're going to have fun with this game.
Yeah, I still remember the first time I played it, it was with my stepdad there, and we were playing, you know, I'm not even sure, I think it was 3.5 that it might have been, but again, it's been so long that I honestly don't remember what version. It might have been 3.5, and it might have just come out, but yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. Though we never actually did have enough time to finish the campaign, or even play as much as I would like to. We lived on a farm, and you know, anybody who lives on a farm can tell you there's always work to be done. So I never got as much time to play as I would like, but it really sparked that interest. I really enjoyed the game itself. And it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I was able to find other groups to play with, play in. Ooh, hey, one of those shrines. This one looks to be a fire affinity, yeah. So there we go. As you see, increases the fire damage that we deal. Unfortunately, we don't deal a lot of fire damage. We also take 20% less fire damage. So I might actually use this rune arm here. Or does it just just, yeah, it's just granting us base fire damage, even if we don't have any. Nope, you leave the hireling alone. Well, this might be where it ends. Though granted, the hireling was out of spell points. Alright. Luckily for us, though, there is a shrine, like, almost right around the corner from where we're at. So, with those gargoyles, I'm surprised that they were... Oh, no, they're still there. So yeah, generally, the gargoyles I thought they were these ones around the outside, which don't actually all spawn at once, as you can see. They only spawn once you walk up to them, making it actually fairly easy to take them out. You can do so one by one. You can, you know, prepare some crowd effect control spells, dance, turret, the like. And, you know, just run, like I'll do two here. You can run in front, and they'll just drop. So if you run past all of them, obviously it's going to spawn them all. Alright, so here is another guaranteed chest. This one comes from that Gargoyle Colossus. And again, as you notice, no named items. Alright, so just on the other side of this hidden door, we have another hidden door. And then on the other side of this one, we actually have a couple of shrines. As well as a fight, apparently. I'm actually going to have the hireling rest here. And then I'm going to try and take out these guys first. Guess I should have left her right in the middle of that. Alright, there we go. Give myself some acid resistance. Myself some top up heals before I shrine. As well as top up heals to the hireling. Alright. So yeah, as you can see, not a great large amount of shrines either in this one, so I definitely recommend using them sparingly. Another thing to point out, even after we shrine, we still kept our fire affinity bonus. Alright. Well, it spawned right on top of us. Glad they spawned before we started shooting those other guys, though. Alright, so we did have another named guy right around the corner. Honestly, not getting a whole lot of the named, to be completely honest. Though we got a couple. Ooh. Alright. So, though we got a couple of the names here, overall, not a whole lot. There's probably about, I want to say about 13 different ones. And this is number, what, 3? Uh, 3 or 4. Either way, not a very big number. Still no name. Yeah, most of what you get, as you see, are these craftable ones. But again, there are like some named and some actually fairly nice named that you can get out of these quests here. Alright, so nothing there. Kind of already fought half these guys. Oh, no, we fought all of these guys. Alright. So we check this one. Another thing to point out, as you've probably noticed here, not a whole lot of collectibles in this. So here, if we head on our, as this side here, our eastern side, this is our first door down to the Earthen Temple. As you see, no matter what side you choose, there are several doors heading down into the that Earthen Temple. And that is because ultimately that's where it is pushing us to go, and that is where we do need to go, as obviously it's the Earth Temple that has our Earth Temple key. Alright, so we got another door here. So we're almost done, I swear. Another just random chest. Alright, nothing in here. So there's that mushrooms. And here's another commentary.
I know that we played it because we played just about all of them, but I don't have a lot of really clear memories from it. It's very possible that my character was killed early on. I mean, I didn't even make it through the first encounter in Tomb of Horrors, which I think is a common thing for a lot of people. But I know that I remember reading The Temple of Elemental Evil.
Alright, so we're going to pop over now into our Earthen Temple. And as you can see, you can already hear them, you know,
This
up and walking
hall
around.
is much wider than many of the others you've seen in the temple. The sound of stone grinding against stone echoes from the north.
Alright, so what I'm going to do here, so as you pop in, there can actually be enemies up and around. So the way this temple is set up is on the northern side, on both sides. It kind of circles around. So I'm going to first off kill one of these elementals. That way it goes into our monster manual. Like that. And then I'm going to actually show you how this club works.
Cleric stands atop a stone altar in the center of this chamber.
So I'm
Four
gonna
massive earth elementals patrol around the altar.
So these are those, obviously those 4. We already actually killed one, so I am just gonna drag them. And why I like doing this here is, ooh, look at him run, look at him run. is we can get him right nice and close, and there we go. Just one hit, and he becomes our little pet. And by taking him out right next to this door here, obviously it charms them right next to our door. Alright, so he's off gallivanting somewhere. Haul the way around again. Hello, come get me. And once you either have control of them all, or they're dead, that's when he comes out. Now because all of them are right there, like, they're gonna help you fight. And they actually do a decent amount of damage. Unfortunately, we got some neg levels again. And of course, I'm not carrying the items. So once their master's dead, we're able to loot his chest and obtain our earth key. So this is our first of the 3 keys. Now, to use the key, we do need to head back around to the north. So I'm just going to head this way. So we can either head to the right or the left. Either way, we got to go north. Just give myself one of those. Head down. So these are those doors.
Begins to quiver and shake. It seems strangely drawn to the south.
And if we had taken that hidden path through the guy's like bedroom, there'd actually be another door right about here. That might actually, yeah. Alright, and now that we have our key,
glows a sickly
we can
green.
unlock
Impenetrable,
and enter in here,
in the center, there's a small indentation in
bringing
the
us
shape of a
down
keyhole.
to dungeon level 2. Now, what I'm going to do here, so as well, if we had gone through at the beginning, remember those paths down? We can head through the earth room there, and that'll also bring us to dungeon level 2. Though generally speaking, you grab the key, because the level 2 is right here, you just keep pushing forward. But I'm going to end this video off right here. You know, it's already been a little bit of time, like we've been in here for just over an hour already. So I'll upload this video, and then tomorrow I'll upload the second half of us completing this quest. And then again, this is just part 1 of the quest. So there is still a whole other part of the quest, which again will probably be released in a 2-part, just due to its length as well. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the first half of Temple of Elemental Evil. I look forward to bringing you that second half in the next video. Again, in the next video, what I'll probably do once we complete is I'll show you like a speed run, and I'll just do that on a lower difficulty. That way we can just really push through on the path if you're looking to just go for, you know, start to finish, done as quick as possible. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining, and have a good one all.